Can someone explain to me what the hell is going on with websites these days? Like, oh my god. God forbid someone make a joke we don't like. Lord almighty, we live in a society. I literally just did a video about my friend Hoover, and guess where that ended up? Pew News. Anyway, we're back at it again, and I gotta defend another one of my friends, right, who's in some bit of a pickle. Anyway, incoming TLDR for Quackity's video, but after this video, I suggest you go watch that video, because there's a lot of important information in that. So, recently, around, not really recently, but New Year's Eve, Quackity was banned from Discord. And the reason he was banned from Discord is fairly interesting, right? You see, the mod who banned Quackity was a furry. And the actual motive for his banning was that Quackity did a video about furries. Now, the mod didn't say this. Instead, that video is cryptically mentioned, and they used the excuse of Quackity's raids as the example for his ban, using very rude and unprofessional language, unbecoming of anybody on a trust and safety committee. He felt that the video that Quackity did incited hatred directed at the furry community. And I'm going to be defending the Quackity's statements, right, and all of this, and I'm gonna be refuting the claims that the mod brings up, but, you know, I can't, how does this happen? Now, I should also mention that I brought up the mod's name on Twitter, and there's a reason for that, and I will get into why I did that, and I know it undermines Quackity's message, but in my opinion, they took it a little too far, and I am going to explain why I did that and my personal reasoning for saying what I said on public Twitter. You know, I care about my friends very deeply. You know, they are important to me. They are like family to me, right? These are some of the most important people in my life. You know, I work with them. They're my peers. They don't do the same videos as me, but that's not why I hang out with them. I hang out with them because they're good people. Quackity is one of the nicest, most sincere, wonderful people I have met. There's genuinely not a bone of hatred in this man's body. But the mod had the audacity to take it in such a way where I couldn't help but clap back because of what they were calling Quackity. And you know, none of us really wanted to go like uber public with this. You know, it was at Quackity's discretion. Nobody was gonna do a video until he did a video. You know, he didn't want to give out the mod's name. He wanted to keep it very professional. You know, nobody I know is in the business of ending careers. That's not why I make these videos. That's not why any of my friends do commentary or any of my friends do anything. You know, that's not our point. And before I go any further, I recognize that a large portion of my job requires or incentivizes me pointing out wrongdoings in people. You know, I acknowledge and realize and recognize the power that has and how dangerous it is. You know, and I think about it, and regardless of if these people did something bad or not, at the end of the day, they are still people. People with lives, jobs, careers, families, personal wishes and goals. They are people. And unrelated to that, I have taken a stance against being in the furry videos that my friends have been doing because I feel they propagate a false narrative about the furry community. Because I've done a lot of growing. I'm not a furry, but I don't really see the community as such a hard negative as a lot of people do. My friends know this, they're fine with it. I've had a debate with Brandon about the influence that we have over the community and internet and everything as a whole. You know, it's something I want to talk about, probably in a second channel video, maybe a blog post, I don't know. The point of the matter here is, with that and the power that I have and all of that, I haven't finalized my opinion on it, but I'm trying to academically come to a conclusion about the power I wield on the internet. I do. I spend a lot of time being academic about this, and I realize the influence I have over people's opinions. I don't have it down to a science yet, but I hope in the future that I have it down at least to a pseudoscience. You know, it's just something I take a lot of pride in because it helps me be a better YouTuber. And, you know, upon watching all of the furry videos, Quackity's is by far the most positive. Quackity's video shows the community in the best light. Everyone is joking, everyone is consenting to be there, all the names are blacked out anyway. It shows the community in a very fun light because these people are furries and they're able to have jokes and enjoy the cringy aspects of their community. For example, I'm a huge weeb, shocker, right? But you know, some people would say it's really cringy to dress up as a Naruto character and run around your college campus, and I would agree with them. But the difference between it being cringy and being funny is the fact that I was self-aware about it, and I recognized the cringy aspects of what I was doing and embraced it. And you know, as a moderator, by banning Quackity, right, by doing that, you have made him a martyr. You have made him a martyr that galvanizes people who hate furries. By banning Quackity, you have moved back the normalization of the furry community on the wider internet by acting like a complete tool and being closed-minded to the idea that people could be a little different or jokey about the community they're a part of. Next thing I want to bring up is from your emails, right? Your ban justification, because it's a justification. It's not a ban. It's your opinion, man. Now, I don't know why or how Discord has any say over what happens on other websites that are completely out of their jurisdiction, but last time I checked, YouTube and Twitch both have trust and safety committees that handle all of this as well. In fact, YouTube is notoriously strict about this. Let's recognize where you are. You are on the Discord trust and safety team. You are not Judge Dredd. You do not enact swift justice at your behalf, and you're always right. That's not you. Last time I checked, you definitely jumped the gun with banning him, because there were tons of other steps you could have taken before taking it to that step. But another point you bring up is the issue of raiding, or Quackity doing raids. So let's talk about it in examples like a game like Club Penguin or Animal Jam or any of those big lobby browser games. So, for reference, I just want to point this out, former game developer. I have peers that are working on an MMO. I do have knowledge of how this works. I'm not an expert, but I know the gist of it. So a server has a max capacity for players, right? A max capacity for the amount of people that can be in a lobby, right? If everyone is in that instance, it might lag a little, but it stays stable and it stays up, and it's not gonna break because there's a cap on how many people can be there. This cap keeps players from crashing the server, right? And the interesting part is that if a lot of people join at once, it'll develop a queue, right? Slow down loading times for people so that way they get in at a steady pace, but don't overload the server by all dogpiling it at once. And again, your game might lag, but it's gonna maintain connection. It's gonna stay up. And even if there's a bunch of people in one space doing something, it'll stay up. And all of this is handled by code. It's all handled without human interaction because the code's been built and it's there and it does its job. And sometimes code gets hung up, or, you know, there's a bug and the server crashes. And then it's gonna require man hours to fix that bug and make sure it doesn't happen again in the future. But games like Club Penguin or Animal Jam are built for big lobbies of people all talking at the same time. That is one of the main core mechanics of all of those games, player-to-player interaction. So, is it what Quackity's doing in the raids that is the issue? Let's use the Club Penguin raid as an example. So, in his most recent Club Penguin raid, he asked Club Penguin to add pants to the game, and everybody asked for pants. That's it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm certain people are just foaming at the mouth for fucking pants in their game. Okay, seriously? Like, maybe that would require money, time, for some poor artist to have to make 20 different pants designs, right? But I've met a lot of professional artists as well. I don't think that would be that hard. And maybe that's just me talking as a producer, you know, I'm supposed to be like the business aspect of all that game stuff. But that's the issue. That's what makes his band so toxic, asking for pants. Next, you point out that Quackity posting images from Discord in a funny way is harassment. So that's a bannable offense, posting memes of Discord. Okay, I want you to check yourself here, because there are full-on meme conversations built from Discord. That is something that exists. So if I make a meme and everyone consents to it and I post it online, that's a bannable offense? Seriously? Wow, you must be fun at parties. Okay, look, if you don't like a joke, you don't like a joke, but like, it's not a reason to ban someone. And you know, there was no warning sent. I think one of the most important aspects of a public relations type of job is the ability to de-escalate a situation, right? So Quackity would be mad because he's banned, and what you want to do is keep him from making a big uproar about it. Like, you could have just removed his partner status so that way you could excuse yourself from liability, or done anything else aside from going straight to a ban. You know, but here's an example, right? I recently had an issue with Patreon because technically me doing video raffles breaks the TOS, even though I know many YouTubers who are doing the same thing, right? And I said this to them and they elaborated, well, we're cracking down on it and here are the reasons raffles can't be done, and they listed the TOS and the issues that they had with raffles. They politely elaborated it to me in bullet points. It was that easy. I didn't make a video about it. I'm talking about it here for an example. I need to figure out what to do, but I'm not going to throw Patreon under the bus because they didn't call me that I'm a harasser, or they didn't say that what I was doing was toxic. They were polite to me. I'm polite to them. So 3 tips for PR for you. You want to listen, write these down. Keep it professional. Don't use personal negative language or attacks. And don't argue with the customer. Don't do that. So now you know what I thought of those emails, right? And again, I totally know the power that my videos have, right? I totally know that the power of words being used on social media, right? So let's talk about your tweet, all the foxes. Let's talk about that. And I swear to God, if I get banned because I have a disagreeing opinion with someone on the Discord's team staff, right? Because I have not, like, gone in for a personal attack. I am strictly looking at their opinions and beliefs. If I get banned for that, there's a huge issue and it's gonna be hell to pay. Let's look at his tweet now. I'm getting distracted and I had to put that in this video just in case it does happen. So let's see what happens. Hello Twitter, your word of the day is stochastic terrorism. Now I probably butchered that word because I'm not an absolute mad lad genius, but what does that word mean? Well, luckily enough, he gave us the definition. The public demonization of a group or person resulting in incitement of a violent act, which is statistically probable, but whose specifics cannot be predicted. So first of all, that is an academic mouthful. You know, there's something to be said for, like, keeping it simple. Don't use academic language if you don't understand the nature of the word, because you're not winning any points by acting like a pseudo-intellectual on the internet. We got enough people on the internet that do that as is. Hell, I do it for a living. You know, and in my opinion, the mark of an academic isn't the ability to speak verbosely. It is the ability to break down complex concepts to a simple level, so that way the general person can understand it. Which is why I would never use the word stochastic terrorism. But what does that word really mean, Diesel? Okay, so allow me to break it down further. Stochastic terrorism really is about using mass communication. Basically, it's when someone uses social media to inspire others to commit an act of terror against a group or individual. So let me use an example that I'm actually pulling from a book. So this book is called So You've Been Publicly Shamed, and in this it talks about Donglegate. TLDR for Donglegate, 2 programmers made a dick joke using the word dongle, a lady took a picture of them, got one of the guys fired, and as a result of that, the internet decided to DDoS, harass, and eventually get her fired from her job, right? Basically, they said the DDoSing would stop if they fired her, so the company did that and they fired her. For it to be stochastic terrorism, it would have to be something more of that caliber, and if anything, I would really argue that it's more public shaming than stochastic terrorism. I don't think that's really a good word to use, because those people that committed that attack weren't ISIS, and neither is Quackity's fan base. You know, if anything, that was public shaming, and I don't necessarily agree or prescribe that it's a good thing, but like, I don't think you should be getting away with what you've done either. Let's look at how Quackity handled it. He handled it very professionally. He didn't bring up your name. He didn't say who you were. You know, he was very general about it. He was very professional. And he encouraged, very significantly, his audience to be professional about it as well. And honestly, I went through a lot of the tweets. Literally 90% of them are very, very well, like, put. None of them are harassing furries or anybody. Obviously, there's fucking morons who think because you're a furry, all furries must be like you. And that's obviously not the case. You know? Like, I know that furries aren't bad people. You know, I know this community isn't bad. And this video isn't to do that. It's not to make people, like, hate a certain group of people. That's not the case. If anything, what I'm doing is more of a debate because these are your opinions that you have stated in the emails, and I'm refuting your claims. Anyway, let's get to your response to me quote tweeting you. Didn't think I'd have to say this, but just to be clear, y'all, I'm not calling anyone a terrorist. Instead, I think it's interesting to think how our words and actions can impact others and incite others to action. It's quite relevant in the world as a whole these days. Okay, so when I look at this, you either don't understand the word you just used, or you're doubling back because you don't want to be the guy who called a YouTuber with 1 million plus subs a terrorist. And after that, I started thinking, what is a good word to describe what Quackity or I or anybody else has as an influencer, like their influence? And I mean, you could use influence, right? But like, what like, is it really earned or is it gained? Obviously we work hard, but like, where does it, like, what is the word that is appropriate to use for this? And I was like, maybe unqualified authority. And I'm like, like maybe influence is just good enough. This is the word that I am inventing right now. So the word is called soft interpersonal power, right? And that is what I'm gonna use to describe influencer power in this video. And I don't know if that's a word I'll ever stick with because it's a mouthful. Basically, I took that from the word soft power, which means a persuasive approach to international relations typically involving the use of economic or cultural influence. Basically, like countries in Europe wearing jeans that they would usually wear in America. That's kind of like what that is. So for soft interpersonal power, right, I would say it means a persuasive approach to mass communication, typically involving the use of someone's status or cultural influence. So basically how PewDiePie can get people to subscribe to him by saying that we have to be T-series. And Quackity said something very powerful in his video about Discord and the trust and safety team, and I want to reiterate it here. He brought up the importance of diversity of opinion. Diversity of a person is important as well. I think it's important. But I think this is even more important. If your entire trust and safety team is filled with individuals who all think and act the same, you can't expect them to objectively and accurately dish out punishments, enforce their TOS, or do anything because their agenda will be put before the TOS, despite how well you train them. You need that conflict of opinion to bring people to a healthy middle ground to enact good rules. If they only fit one worldview, they're going to enact bans, rules, and carry out everything in a way that fits that view. But you need different people on the team to bring different ideas to the team. They can't all think the same. Like, the issue that I really have on a more personal level is that you have a member of your team that is vocal enough to call a public figure a terrorist because they disagreed with their ban. The grassroots movement he had started is not internet terror. That's not it at all. And I know Quackity wasn't the first to be banned wrongfully, okay? And he won't be the last unless somebody does something. But like, language like that is just absolutely unacceptable. You can't be calling people that with no basis in reality. And and again, this video is not me attacking who All the Foxes is. My issue is the beliefs they are holding. I don't know what'll happen after being put, like, this video goes out. I'm taking a risk by doing it. I know that. I stand behind my beliefs. I think the ban was unjust. I think how they're acting is wrong. And I think it's ridiculous to call someone that. And who they are does not represent everybody who is also what they are. Because they don't identify with the gender does not mean people who are transgender are bad people. Does not mean that furries are bad people. None of that. I'm strictly against their philosophies, and that's my issue, because I think their philosophies are dangerous and things that will set a bad precedent on the internet if you allow that kind of behavior to continue. Any trust and safety team, anybody who dishes out or works with public relations should not be judge, jury, and executioner on your website. There should be more communication. I hope to see something happen. I know other YouTubers are also doing videos. I've talked with people privately. I know that me talking about All the Foxes specifically is, one, gonna put me in potential for ban because I'm calling them out, and two, I'm just disagreeing with someone's opinions, and it's their personal opinions. So if anything, it shouldn't even affect how I act on Discord. So we'll see what happens moving forward. If I get banned, fuck, let's see what happens, you know. But yeah, I don't really know how to end this video, but I'm just mad. There you go. This video is gonna be like a half an hour long. Holy shit.